Hi, I'm Colin, and today I'll put forward some ideas on the effect of electromagnetic pulses and how they affect modern military equipment. So modern military equipment is getting ever more complex, ever more interconnected, and ever more fragile as a result of that. The more complex a system, the more fragile it is. So whilst things like drones and missiles are more and more dangerous, they are also more and more vulnerable to EMP attack. So how could a country use EMP defence? So let's consider back an example from World War II, how the British defended themselves during the Blitz. They would black out areas. Now, using the same principles, imagine a country sees incoming missiles, aircraft or drones. What it would do is it can sound an alarm and black out by turning off its electricity grid for that area. This immediately does a couple of things. Firstly, it stops the enemy misusing any of the local GPS systems for navigation and any visual clues, especially at night, of where the lights of the cities are. But the freed up electricity could be diverted into massive EMP blasts in the direction of the incoming aircraft or missiles or drones. This could knock them out. And remember, you've turned off your electricity grid, so your own appliances and all the various electricity infrastructure in your country, in that region, wouldn't be affected by the EMP blast. It would only be affecting the enemy incoming aircraft. So how could this be applied to a local battlefield situation? Well, largely using the same principles. As a defender, you have a great worry about drones being all over the place. But you have a big advantage as a defender that you have heavy equipment on the ground, potentially linked up to the grid. The enemy has to be flying things into the battle zone and therefore doesn't have that advantage. So what you do timed shutdowns of your own equipment and then massive EMP blasts that would knock out any enemy drones that are hiding or missiles or other enemy systems. Then you power up your own systems and you have them working and your enemy doesn't, and that's your advantage. Now, there's still going to be elements of electronic jamming and countermeasures and things like this, but an EMP blast is just brute force and has advantages for that. So what does defense against EMP blasts look like? Well, basically Faraday cages. So these are bits of metal or other conductive material that encase the vulnerable electronics and divert the EMP blast around it. Now, if you're using this on a drone, this has to be as light and effective as possible. If you're using it on other things, well, it could even double up as the regular armour against projectiles. Now, EMP blasts also direct the advantage back not only to the defenders but also to humans on the battlefield as well. With more and more electronics knocked out, then human skills, such as the ability to operate equipment manually or to drive, let's say, a vehicle by yourself, are suddenly a new advantage.